Hey guys, Jan David Sutar here, AFC Northerners, and I just wanted to go back and look at the game a little bit more one last time, check all the highlights and all that good stuff. Crazy game. All right, so 28-33 final, Chiefs win at their home opener. I called on the last episode that I did, it was going to be 27-23, a loss by 5 points. All of which, if we had gotten those 2-point conversions, we would have won that game by a point. Let's start with offense, really. Lots of overthrown balls. The long ball was just getting away from Lamar. They were way overhead. So I don't know if there was a visibility problem or if there's an accuracy problem. If there's an arm problem, we don't know yet. But there was a lot of overthrown balls, especially towards the end zone, constantly way over the heads of where they needed to be by a lot. And it was wobbly and all over the place. Maybe it was the wind from the rain. Maybe it was the rain itself. There were parts where it was a sunny out, and I still saw a bad ball. So, Mark Ingram wants the ball. What a great pickup for us. Seth Roberts made a beautiful catch. Had some really nice catches. That one catch was ridiculously lucky. I think that he could be an interesting guy to keep an eye on from here on in. And it's obvious that with that Chiefs defense, going for two just wasn't working. It was obvious after the first quarter. It was obvious after the second quarter. It was obvious at the very end. If we had gone for those points, we would have been at 3 points at least less. So we would have only been down by 2 points. And there's just a lot of questionable play calling. Gus Edwards was a wrecking ball. Speaking of rushing touchdown defense, it really seems like against that defense, offense really should have stuck to running and short passes against the Kansas City defense. When we were throwing short, we were way better as far as our production, the first downs. That one shovel pass was perfect, really was right in where we needed to be. And it looks like overall the Kansas City defense looks more vulnerable whenever it comes to short passes, at least with our offense. The Marquise Brown over the shoulder catch, fantastic, great. But he wasn't really targeted a lot. So if you're a fantasy owner, I would not recommend having him right now. He's just, maybe year two, but right now I haven't seen enough yet. Maybe later on the season, but right now he's not really doing a whole lot of us. But also a lot of that was on Lamar for overthrowing balls. Snead had a lot of drop passes, but he did make a great catch. But I've been, again, looking at that one ball hit him right off his hands. Offensive line was okay, but really wasn't as great as Kansas City's defense. They were outmatched a lot of times. They were able to really pressure Lamar way more than we needed, or rather wanted, not needed. And it was good. We picked up some steam at the end of the fourth. That Lamar Jackson touchdown with 2 minutes was skillful. It was just a really, really fun thing to watch. But just can't make any of those 2-point conversions, not one of them. And honestly, why do you make those calls? There's just way too many points missed because of 3 failed 2-point conversions. And I'll touch on penalties. So I understand all of the things with penalties. I get it. I'll get you to there. Jackson was 22 of 43 for completions. Ingram had 16 carries for I think 103 yards. Boyle was the best with passing. I think he had 4 for 58 yards. Really didn't see much of Andrews. Only had 3 carries for 15 yards. Our defense, secondary was picked apart. Just all day, every day, long bombs. Mahomes just could throw wherever pretty much he wanted to, and he did. Our secondary is significantly depleted. We really didn't have Humphrey in, Smith's out, Young's still out. And I understand the whole Jalen Ramsey, idea, and I'm not opposed to it, but I want to make sure that we're not giving away our future on a cornerback. I love my corners, don't get me wrong. Ed Reed is totally worth a first and a second, but not 2 firsts. I don't know if I'd go 2 firsts. I don't know. I'm saying this in hindsight, so I get that too. Disappointment in Greg Roman for this game. He had no answer for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's obvious that we miss, the starters in our secondary, but still really poor coverage and play calling all over. And we only have 1 sack recorded. Matthew Judon got that. Again, we're really trying to figure out our identity on defense and secondary specifically. By the way, Brandon Williams, fantastic job on some of those stops. Bad plays by Judon. There were really unnecessary hits. that he took. You know, it really set us back. We could have like done without a lot of that, and I just think that's fundamentals. On special teams, Hill turns out to be a decent returner. I haven't really seen anything break out, but he did have a really nice run. I mean, Justin Tucker, accurate as always. I can't believe the Kansas City's like guy missed the PAT. That's just crazy. Tucker was a little high on that drop kick. I would have preferred to him be, you know, lower down. The refs, man, lots of questionable penalties and lots of uncalled things, like lots of questionable things in this one. I mean, I see a trend in this season with the officials playing the you know, calls, you know, dead way too early. That happened to us in the last game. They called a play dead after Lamar Jackson was still, you know, there and up and kicking. Way too many penalties in general on us. Some of them were really dumb. Some of them I don't quite understand. How do you call a fucking penalty on Tavon Young, number 25, who's not even in the game? Here's the thing, guys. Make sure you're paying attention who's reffing these games. It's not about just knowing the players. Know the people that are officiating those players, because they could be held responsible for bad plays. Think about the Saints, right? All right, I'm going to riff on referees here for a second. Think about that game last season, end of the year, Saints game. Was anybody in that officiating team, any of them reprimanded? Were any of them fined? Were any of them penalized? Were any of them fired? Go look. Go look. See what happens. See what it is the NFL feels is adequate punishment for missing a call or blowing a call. I think it would be very good to know about not just the players, but the people who are officiating these games. I would like to know what it is the NFL deems as a punishment towards their own officiating crew, wouldn't you? Overall, coaching, play calling, really subpar. Oh my God. I have to say that this loss is on Harbaugh. This loss is solely, completely, really, truly on the horrible play calling from Harbaugh. I think that this is probably one of the most disappointing performances of his career as the head coach of the Ravens, because this game we could have won. I mean, I firmly believe that. I feel like it would be a tough game, no lie. Kansas City Chiefs, fucking lots of respect. Our coach really gave you all the opportunities you needed to win this game. That is unacceptable to me. If we had taken the points, we would have been tied, possibly have won. I would like to know, like, what Greg Roman's plan was for their team, because I didn't see anybody stopping them. And I mean, the closest we got was a pick that was nulled, right? Blame game. Who is really truly to blame of this game is Harbaugh. And offensive play calling, Greg Roman didn't really impress me in this game either as a play caller. I think that the refs did not help us out whatsoever. I'm really, really disappointed in the coaching staff for this game. It's easy to kind of defer to players, but this one is really, truly Andy Reid just truly outcoached John Harbaugh. It's really disappointing to see whenever you know that game, you have a talented team that could have won that game, and the coaching staff was the thing that hurt them. We've got coming up another game, going up against the Browns. I know that everybody's going to have like a thing to say about that. I'll look at the Browns after I see them in this game today. Thanks again, guys. Glad to be able to still do this with you guys and still talk to you and just give you my perspective on it. As somebody who loves the game and has been watching it since they were a kid, you know, this is a really interesting season of football. You've got a lot of interesting storylines. Talk to you later, guys. Really appreciate it. Go Ravens. Fuck John Harbaugh.